Hello everyone, it's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Moriah Afolabi Brown as always. I have the ladies with me. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Obiajulu?
I'm doing amazing. I'm grateful to God for all the responsibilities. I say I'm grateful to God for all the responsibilities that are coming my way. It seems much, but then I'm beginning to realize that, because of the platform, people see you for what they think you can do. Yeah. Sometimes even when you don't see yourself like that, but then they trust you that you'll be able to deliver. And then I'm getting calls to handle 1 or 2 events. I'm already booked out till December.
Nice.
Like seriously, I am. So it's time to work. No more resting.
I am turning down events.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Wow.
I cannot be killed.
Yes.
But it was really fun in Abeokuta. Okay. I'd gotten an invitation to speak, to chair a panel in Abeokuta on sexual harassment, and I turned it down. Pure heart, thank you, because it was major for me. When I got there, young people talking serious issues. They had a play on it, they had a poetry session on it, they had a session on self-esteem on it, and Miriam had to practically drag me down there. So, but it was really nice for me. And I also had Dire gifts as well. And we ate Egba beans. Egba-style beans. So it was really nice. I had fun and I got home very late. Fantastic. But it was eye-opening for me. But the rains on Sunday did not let us make celebration. Everybody wanted to go, but me, I wouldn't even get up.
Enter rain with your road.
The roads were flooded. On my way down, I'd seen this long bridge, the Kara Bridge, flooded. I need to call Chairman Lasena because that was my fear. I said, I have someone here.
I heard.
I have someone.
Hi, Nintokwe.
I'm good. So, deadline for submitting school projects for my kids. And
it's tomorrow.
Yes, it's tomorrow. So, I had to put on my creative hat.
So did you do the bowl with the buttons?
It didn't work. I did 3 projects and it didn't work. I planted beans for my baby and he went there and overwatered the beans. It did not grow. He picked out the beans, it didn't grow. So right now, I don't know what we're going to do because the beans cannot grow between yesterday and tomorrow. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to bond with the kids, and the school made it compulsory for the parents to be involved with doing it. So I'm
but
really
your
grateful.
plans for Miriam's party can work, remember?
Yes, we have, yes. But they said they wanted us to plant beans.
Beans, oh, right.
For someone, yeah, it was specified that it should be.
Where is it? Which one? The one for Miriam's?
Yes.
I don't even know where it is.
Our one is green, nicely.
Okay, we're not that organized yet.
That plant is actually the color of my house.
So it fits
well. I thought I just put it outside with the pots. Makes my house beautiful. I wet it myself now. I don't want Madame to kill it again.
That's nice.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Interestingly, I had to turn down some jobs too. It's getting over. I mean, as much as I appreciate the trust people have in me to get their jobs done, I had to just, because I'm getting quite overwhelmed. So I said, listen, I resigned because I wanted to spend time.
I don't mind getting jobs if it's interpreted to money. I seem to have this good luck of being invited for events where they will give me pillow, give me jota, and thank me. But very well. So I appreciate the opportunities, but I'm not having to consider the fact that I have bills and I speak for a living. I'm well trained as a speaker, and this thing should give me money. But when you invite me, and
I told you what to do now. I'm not taking my advice.
So Jumoke gave us an invoice sometime. That once you say they send an email, you send them back. So they work with it if they must have you. But I've never stuck to it. I think I'll start sticking to it now.
You don't need money yet.
I'm broke.
I do actually.
Any speaking engagements I have, I just send it to talk because I can't come and speak. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that yet. But I think
you are.
Maybe eventually, maybe I would. But maybe I'll think about it later. But now, let's talk about be speaking around. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the top stories in the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, start with The Nation. Education, potent weapon against poverty, says Tinubu. Senate rejects Niger Delta Ministry's 23 billion naira budget. Court orders forfeiture of Saraki's houses. Police get 6 DIGs and 14 AIGs. Banks, we didn't ask MTN to charge for USSD. Okay, so Senate rejected the Niger Delta Ministry's 23 billion naira budget. I read that story And what the Senate was saying is that all the time, Niger Delta Ministry keeps coming back with new items on their budgets, that they have so many ongoing projects that have not been captured within the new budget, that they need to go and complete those and give us an update on what's happening with those. You can't bring 23 billion naira for brand new projects. That doesn't make any sense. And they need to actually go back and do their homework and ensure that they give us a review of what they have done for the past. According to the papers, I think it's in 2005 or something like that was quoted.
Do you know what? Whenever we do this, when we do budget, who is supposed to be accountable to get the feedback on the budget effectiveness of the budget implementation? That should be during FEC meeting. Every FEC meeting, the discussion should be that, okay, this week, this is what we did, but we're not getting that effect, as Nigerians are not seeing that.
The painful part is if you stay in that area, you see that they are not using these monies, they are not doing any project.
That's what the senator said, abandoned projects. They've just been abandoned.
They just leave them there. Nothing is happening in Niger Delta.
What happened to the ones that you've collected money for?
Nothing has made me happy like this new,
new senator, right?
No, the what's it called, audit of the NDDC, because I've followed the NDDC for years, and the monies do not translate to growth.
Commercial Bank Governor of Lagos State is telling us what we already know.
He was speaking at a convocation at Babalola University in Ado-Ekiti, and he said that education is the key to solving the problems of Nigeria. He said to him, education is the foundation for peace, education is a tool for engendering development, and we know. So we're waiting for...
is the type and kind of education that we need to do, that we need to start talking about, because governments need to understand that we need to customize education for our development. Yes. So it's not about education, it's about what kind of education are we looking at. Moving on now to The Punch. State varsities face hard times as governors cut subventions. 2-day-old Davido's son opens over 200 Instagram accounts. Police arrest Chadian and Nigerian kidnapped suspects and recover 10 million naira. National Assembly uncovers 4 billion naira ghost project in Niwa project. 6 UI lecturers in DSS nets for exam malpractice. Minimum wage labor demands payment of 5-month arrears. EFCC begins witness recall in Fayoshe's 2.2 billion naira fraud case. Court orders forfeiture of Saraki's houses, ex-governor's kicks. And Nigeria spends 2.4 trillion annually on imported vehicles. Which story are we taking?
So we do major headline. Go ahead. So Punch has continued with his investigating schools, and they've revealed that the state governments are abandoning the responsibility for funding their universities. The subventions which they usually give to the universities, they are cutting it down drastically, and most of these schools do not have funding anymore. Lecturers are not trained regularly. Manpower is zero in terms of training. There's no fund for them to do research, so the students are not having new things to learn. The classrooms are being jam-packed. Sometimes 2 lectures will be going on in the same classroom at the same time. Hostels are not built. Because of the cultism happening, most of the students are forced to stay off campus. So the issues are so enormous. And I really do not know how we can just pull forces together. We've been doing too much talking.
Really, I think, according to them, they're not getting enough money from the federal government. So diverting that money to help invest in schools, it's secondary right now, it's not primary.
When we know that the most important investment we should make is into our education.
So, and they're also establishing more schools. Like, for instance, Ondo State has about 3 tertiary institutions, and they're struggling for funding. So why don't you lump everything together so that you can pull
Let's talk about Davido's baby.
Really?
Yes. So
it's a good
congratulations to him.
It's a topic now.
He's a boy. He's been popping champagne. We're happy for him. But a lot of fake people have come up on Instagram to open Instagram pages using his picture and the baby. You know, very soon they'll start asking people for money. So you should know that.
All right, let's take the serious story you want to talk about. Which other speak on The Punch? The Chadian, the Nigerian kidnapped 10 billion naira.
I wanted to take the UI investigation. But
go ahead.
Obiajulu has it.
Okay,
malpractice.
Yes. So about 6 workers have been arrested. The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ibadan arrested, reported about 6 of his workers for exam malpractice, which DSS is already handling at the moment. So they are in custody. He's making sure that the case is being looked into. They were caught providing test papers for students who are writing examinations, helping them to falsify their accreditation.
All right, moving on very quickly to Daily Sun. Saraki to forfeit property to federal government. Anxiety in Inundo over Akeredolu's health. Nigeria fighting global terrorism, says minister. Insists that Boko Haram has been defeated. PNID court remands 2 British nationals in custody, and FG procures 20 new rail coaches. Lots of stories. Let's start with Akeredolu, Governor of Ondo State.
People in the states of Ondo State have been, they've not seen their governor for a month, and they're worried that they heard that the governor is sick. He has an undisclosed sickness and is seeking treatment in another community, in a different state. The spokesperson for Akeredolu has spoken up to say, his press person has said that no, he's not sick. The state is still running as it should, and that just 2 days ago he got an award in Abuja and he went to attend that event, and there are pictures of him. I feel that in Nigeria we are too hush-hush about medical issues that our leaders suffer. We don't talk about it. And in other countries, when the president or governor or whoever is sick, the entire society knows that this governor is currently sick and is seeking treatment. So we shouldn't hide it.
He's not sick.
They say he's healthy and we're wishing him the best of health.
Now you want to make him sick. Let's talk to the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture. Is insisting that Boko Haram has been technically defeated.
How?
That he traveled and he knew what he saw. That he could not talk without knowing what he's seen. And that what we're experiencing is a global terrorism. The ISIS moving into various countries.
ISIS, Al-Qaeda.
Yeah,
that this is the normal thing that happens everywhere.
Okay, so whether is the normal thing and that's what is happening, we seem not to be on top of it here. Other countries too are suffering from it. I mean, countries we look up to are dealing with it. We should be doing more than we're doing already.
Former Senate President.
So,
go ahead.
Former governor of Kwara State, who already, 2 of his properties in
most recently the Senate President. That's more.
Okay, the third man in command. Okay, our former Senate President is being investigated by the EFCC, and they've gotten a temporary forfeiture of 2 properties that he has in Ikoyi. And his spokesperson is saying these same properties have already been investigated by the ICPC, and that the Supreme Court has said they did not have a case against him. So this is a case of double jeopardy. Well, how do they call it in law? Right. But then this new investigation was detailed in the sense of how money moved and how it was eventually converted to the purchase of these properties, which might not have been facts disclosed
12 billion
to the court at the time.
Expressly say what the investigation was about. Just said illegal activities, suspicious.
I finished reading that story in the Tribune, and at some point it explained how cash
12 billion
was moved from the state's coffers in Kwara State
into two banks, Access and Zenith Bank in his name.
That's all.
Okay, so all right, moving on to
Vanguard. We need to know
if
our money was going.
Shut borders against alien headsmen, Autumn tells federal government. Picture here, traffic situation in Mile 2 area. That's Nima's area, Papa. Or not just one in as Kogi deputy governor. First Bank posts 60.03 billion naira profit in 9 months. Treasonable felony charge. Court varies Showore Bakare's bail conditions. Court orders interim forfeiture of Saraki's Ikoyi houses. Rail transport, 20 new coaches arriving in 6 weeks. Minister of Transportation, that's Amechi. Right.
Major headline. Governor Utom of Benue State, Samuel Utom, has said that he's telling the government that while he was visiting the Federal Medical Center in Makurdi, where a Mrs. Grace Zeku's hands were chopped off by herdsmen that visited their village, Bogyo village of Guma local government area of the state. And he was saying that the issues they are facing, that, okay, well, Benue is relatively peaceful, but the issues of herdsmen and the issues of foreigners coming into the country, farmers killing in the country can be curbed by shutting, don't just shut borders for goods, shut borders to maintain, to monitor the number of people coming into the country. Owaneze Indigbo and Afenifere and Arewa Constitutive Forum all support what he's saying, that don't just stop goods from coming in. Let's check people that are coming in.
Let's take if you got some
the picture story in the Vanguard. So presently, thank God, Vanguard, thank you, Vanguard, for doing this report. They've gone again to Mile 2 to explain, to show us pictorial visions of what is happening there. Evidence. As we speak now, this morning, the lay-by connecting into Oshodi Expressway, there's a sitting 14-feet truck that's falling down there. That road has become bad. That's lay-by potholes, everything is there now. So the state of the road, the article carries the state of the road, everything contributing to the congestion in Apapa was taken. One part of it that worries me is the state of the port terminals operators there. Out of the 8 terminals, only 2 are working. They have no scanners to work, so they have to do manual search of each container. That, of course, will delay the tankers. And as we speak now, they are now coming back into where the task force has worked. Also in that article is a detailed report of how corruption is fueling this as well. How task force operators who are supposed to help us are making money. I have even seen, I saw close eye to eye like this, a police officer receiving his own when I tried to pass there to curriculum. So we need serious intervention.
Let's talk about the Minister of Transport is saying that 20 new coaches, they have 10 going to Abuja, and 10 in Lagos, at Lagos, Ibadan, to hopefully to ease traffic along those corridors. Daily Trust, very quickly, outrage as Onoja replaces Achuba. It's illegal, MBA, National Assembly, PDP caucus says. Court orders for Fisher Saraki, talked about that. Residents flee villages as gunmen kill vigilantes in Kaduna. And let's move on very quickly to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. A $103.6 million World Bank loan, Abacha loot, shared to 3,695 poor families. Consumption again. 30,000 naira minimum wage will get state government to pay higher. And not any personal effects worth above 50,000 naira liable to duty payment, says Customs. And closed land border against foreign headsmen. Any story there that...
NLC.
I wanted to do the Onoja, but go on.
Go ahead, take the Onoja.
Okay.
So Edward Onoja has been sworn in as deputy governor against the report of the investigating panel that investigated the former deputy governor, or should I say substantive deputy governor of Kogi State. So we see blatantly what I would call a corruption, because the impeachment has a process. And one of the processes is that the 7-man panel that we investigate, either the governor or the deputy governor comes out and, either indicts him or absolves him. So when he's absolved, impeachment, of course, is stalled. But even against his, absolving him, against not indicting him, a 21 member of the House of Assembly still impeached him. And, they have a new deputy governor because,
unfortunately, that is all we can take on the front pages of the newspapers. When we return, we have a guest appearance from Union Bank to discuss their Edu 360. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So last year, Union Bank unveiled Edu 360 as part of efforts to increase its support for the educational sector in Nigeria. Today on the show, we have with us the head strategic communications at Union Bank, Kemi Ogunleye, to shed more light on this year's edition of Edu 360. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Good morning.
So tell us about this project this year. We remember it happened last year.
Yes.
And tell us about what the theme is this year and the focus.
Okay, great. So the theme this year, I'm personally very excited about the theme. It's Education Beyond Walls. So just to give a background for people who don't know what Edu 360 is and why is a bank, Union Bank, getting involved in the education sector. Take us back a little bit to 2017 when Union Bank celebrated its centenary. At that time, we decided, okay, we're going to now begin to focus on ways in which we can enable success for the 99%. That's what we call it. So we decided to focus on the SDGs for Nigeria, particularly or specifically Goal 4, which is quality education. And that's how Edu 360 was born. So Edu 360 is a platform. It's that sort of looks at the education sector holistically and looks at ways in which the private sector can get involved in driving reform in the education sector. Absolutely. Why? Because we know if we don't fix the education sector...
Nobody will.
We can't grow this country, we can't talk about building the economy, we can't talk about any of those things unless we go back to the basics and fix education.
So I was at the last one and it was a major eye-opener for me. It was growth for me. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this one. But tell us more. What are we expecting to see this year?
I'm happy to hear the feedback. Last year was you know, we got a lot of positive feedback like that, but it was 2 days. This year, we are now expanding it to 3 days. So what do you have to look forward to? Edu 360, like I said, is for the entire education sector, the value chain. So whether you're an educator, you're a policymaker, you're a parent, you're a student, or you are a service provider, we've got something for everyone. So it's a conference, it's exhibition, it's teacher training going on Thursday and Friday. It's parenting classes. We have a lot of personal development classes for students. We've got coding, we've got robotics. We have acting classes. In fact, so it is a robust program, and it's for 3 days. Starts on Thursday, the 24th of October, and ends on Saturday, the 26th, which is our family day.
It's really amazing. I'm involved in something like that, so I'm very particular about the teacher training.
Okay.
But I'm worried because I know that most times we do this. This is once in a year.
Well, so let me just add there. It's not once in a year. That's why I said Edu 360 is a platform.
Okay.
It's more than a conference. It's more than an event. Okay. It is a year-round platform to fix for us to find ways to improve and reform the education sector.
Okay.
So beyond the conference that happens in October, we have ongoing teacher training classes. Between last year and now, we've had teacher training classes in Lagos, in Port Harcourt, and in Abuja.
Amazing.
We've had heads of schools workshops. We've had different forums where stakeholders can come together and discuss.
So who are we expecting to attend? Because people always worry that they have to register, or is it just for parents to come, or for kids to come, or teachers?
It's for everyone. If you have a stake in the education sector, Edu 360 is for you. It's free to attend, but you have to register. Go to our website, Edu360, www.edu360.ng, and register for free. So just come. If you're a parent, you said who is it for? Like I said, if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're an educator, if you're a teacher, if you're a school owner, if you're a policymaker, or if you're a service provider, so you do anything within the education sector, then Edu 360 is for you.
People get scared of the crowd. So how are you going to control the crowd, and how many people are you expecting?
We're expecting, last year we had, I think, about 3,000. Wow. This year, we're expecting more than double that number. But we've moved the venue to the mainland. It's at Union Bank Sports Ground, which is in Surulere. It's a bigger venue. It's our venue, so we're able to really build it up in a way that we're able to manage the crowd. We're able to have a flow. And it's 3 days. Parking is sorted. There's parking on the grounds, limited parking on the grounds, but there's parking along the area, and we're working with Last Mile, we're working with our own security outfits as well to ensure that everything flows. So don't worry about crowd, don't worry about parking.
When they say parking is outside the venue, wear flat shoes.
Thank you very much. Wear comfortable shoes, please. That's something we're telling everyone. Please, this is a conference, it's education. This is not
fashion parade.
Please leave your heels at home. I say that to myself as well. Come in comfortable shoes, come in comfortable wear. There's a lot going on within the marquees, but there's also activities outside as well. So just come, get your hands dirty, come and have some fun.
So I have two questions. First one being that the Saturday event is the family day, and most parents are worried about whenever I go for events, I'm a mommy all through. I can't learn because I'm taking care of the kids. What are the provisions you've made to ensure that I can also learn even while my kids are having fun, and I won't be worried about them getting lost or something?
Okay, great question. So we've thought about that, we've anticipated that, and we're working with Event Nanny to ensure that the kids have their own activities. They've got, like I said, they have coding classes, they have robotics classes, they have acting classes, photography classes for kids. So the children have their own activities, parents have their activities, and then there's a play area. We've got Event Nanny and other personnel on ground to help manage the children.
How many hours for Saturday?
Saturday, I think the doors open at 9 and close at 5. We're closing out with I don't even know whether to say this on air, but we're closing out with a concert. Files is going to be in the house.
Yay!
So I'm going to be there. So that Saturday is jam-packed. We're going to have, like I said, we're closing out with Files, but even before that, we have parenting classes.
Is there food?
There's food. We have a huge food court. There's food. Whatever it is you can think of and anticipate, you've done it. Please. So
I'm going to be there.
Well, any plans for kids with special needs?
Yes, so we have a couple of sessions for parents of children with special needs as well. And of course, if you have children with special needs, please bring them. We, we'll be able to accommodate them.
Can we have an idea of some of your facilitators again? Because last year,
yes,
one of the best was there.
We have from, who can I think of off the top of my head? Omowale David Ashiru, she's the CEO of Andela. She'll be speaking on a panel called The Future of Work. We're talking about, again, going back to our theme, education beyond walls. What does that mean? We're talking about how education takes place. A lot of it is taking place now outside of the four walls of the classroom. Technology is enabling education to happen in different places, different ways, virtual reality assisted. So that means that what employers are looking for is different from what we've prepared children for now. So we have a panel talking about the future of work. Are we adequately preparing our students?
I know you also have Adesua.
We have Adesua on Yenokwe. We have Funke Akindele giving a speech. We have Gossi talking about being a teacher. I think the power.
Do you have psychologists and psychiatrists again this year?
We have a panel where we're going to be talking about emotional well-being of children and how the signs to look out for. We have Bola Tinumbu of the Chechayara Foundation. She's talking about having the talk with your children and the signs to look for in sexual abuse, how to empower our children.
It's a loaded event.
So it's loaded.
Fantastic.
It's fully loaded.
Any other information you'd like to share with us before we go?
Well, like I said, once more, go to our website, the www.edu360.ng to register. It's free to attend, but please, you have to register. Come with comfortable shoes. Bring an ID when you're coming, just so we can validate you. Venue, Union Bank Sports Ground. Date 24th to the 26th of October. So this week, Thursday to Friday. Thursday to Saturday, sorry.
There you have it. So be there, Edu360 by Union Bank. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll discuss skincare practices. Stay with us. We'll be right back. What a sweet.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Everyone has had to deal with one skin issue or the other at some point in their lives. While some have had it smooth, others have to deal with such things as acne, dryness, sensitivity, oiliness, discoloration, name it all. Joining us on the show is a clinical skin therapist, Oluwakemi Ajiboye. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mariah.
You can call us on 0708066814. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Skincare. Every young woman wants to have a good skin. Everybody feels it's important to have that nice glowing skin. But sometimes people find it it's such a hard task, getting used to that regimen of scrubbing and polishing and moisturizing.
Toning.
It's just, to me, it's too much work. Listen, I can't come and kill myself. I just take life
That's your
easy.
best phrase right now.
So, my first question to you is, why is it important to have a beauty regimen? And can you actually still have a good skin without going through this process?
That's a very tough one.
Okay.
For every structure, for every organization, there must be a structure. Same with the skin. You know, the skin is the largest organ of the body, and there is a particular structure it must be cared for. You know, when you say you don't want to go through the skin regimen, it's like you saying, yes, I want to build a very fantastic building, and I don't want to have a foundation, which is impossible. So you must have a structure skincare regimen to achieve whatever goal you
So that's
you
exactly
aim at.
where I have a problem, because it's a sense of the body, it's an organ, the largest, organ of the body. I feel that it's not something that we should be doing guinea pig experiments with.
Absolutely.
And you see, in Nigeria, we have a lot of things, just mix it, do it, put it, all sorts of things that we put. Some we say is organic, we say, we do so much with our skin that I fear what the outcome will be in our old age. So what exactly are the basic things that you think everybody must do, and what do you think we should not even go into at all?
Okay, I'm going to start by saying there is a standard skincare regimen that everyone, irrespective of your gender, must follow. You must cleanse, you must tone, like Tope said, you must moisturize. Now, for everyone, it differs. Whatever I'm going to use as a cleanser rather, will be different from what someone else will use. So also the toner and the moisturizer. It must be very tailored to your own skin. Having said that, you talked about putting in a lot of things. You know, the truth is, the secret of skincare is little is more. Because
Little is more.
Yeah, because the skin cannot actually absorb high molecular weight substances. And that's why you find it so difficult for you to achieve whatever tone you want to achieve, for you to achieve whatever goal you want to achieve with the skin, because it's quite difficult. When you're trying to force something like a cup into this mouth, it can't go in.
So what I hear is, anytime I hear skincare, what I hear is toning from a different complexion to the other, or bleaching. And I've never seen, I may be wrong, but I've never seen a skin expert who is my color. Sometimes they start out my color, along the line, they come to your color. So it scares me from getting any form of product. And I'm blessed to have a good skin. I don't have the patience to remember to cleanse. I don't clean my face. I'm sorry about that. I don't.
You wash, you clean, you wash your face. That's cleanse.
No,
That's simple.
so am I not supposed to be using all those stuff?
No.
Washing face is normal when I'm bathing. It's not like I go and wash my face.
No.
So I don't have those, what do you call them? Those, the times that I set aside routine to handle, I have to clean my body, I have to scrub my body, I have to do all of that. But I get by, and I get by really well. So for those people, those women who do not have the time to, buy all of those products, what are the simple things they can do? that will give them a good skin without stress?
Okay, let me just say this. You said you've never seen any skincare expert that has a brown skin.
Yeah.
They are everywhere. Yes, there are really. Then you talked about the simple things one can do. If you want to have a beautiful skin, there are 2 ways to it. Just 2 ways to it. You make sure your cellular turnover is well balanced.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you know, everyone, every organ, every tissue, every system is made up of cells.
Okay.
So, you know, and the skin has its own rejuvenation cycle. Every 28 days, the skin gets rejuvenated naturally by itself, but at the basal layer of the skin. This is the stratum corneum, is as good as a dead cell. Okay. That's why when you use a razor blade and you do not pierce so deep, it's not going to bring out blood because it is a dead layer. But beneath, I mean the 5th layer now, every 28 days, it gets rejuvenated. It's so beautiful, it's so plumpy, but as it comes up to the uppermost part of the skin, it gets dried. So now, how do you make sure the rejuvenation process is sped up such that when you have some drying up, somehow automatically producing that rejuvenation and desquamation taking place at the same time? So I'm going to say 2 things that one can use to, you know, tackle this. You talk about cell regulators. Your cell regulators, you have your vitamins, you have your peptides. Now, peptides are like protein. They are protein derivatives. And you also have your antioxidants. You have your greens, you have your reds, you have your oranges. You know, anything that is colorful will be able to give you that flavonoid effect. And of course, we'll be able to increase your cell turnover rate.
Sorry, please. The English you just spoke now is that when we eat certain fruits, vegetables, greens, for the common man to understand, we may still achieve all of this without
cellular
having to
renovation, rejuvenation is number 1 from what
Absolutely.
you eat. Absolutely.
But when you're trying to take this, you know, the skin might not be able to, absorb
all
them.
of it. Okay.
But without vitamin C.
Let me take this call very quickly. I'll hold it for a while. Good morning. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I am calling from Australia.
Welcome to the show.
Wow.
Welcome.
That's some distance.
Yeah. And I'm a first-time caller.
Woo! Another clap.
Program. And to this time, finally, I got through.
Nice.
Yeah, my contribution actually, I think when I was trying to connect what the lady thing with that thing, we actually touched it. This skincare thing, for me, what I see in it, like you said, is basically bleaching. And there's really nothing much they do when they talk about skincare and other than changing your color. Anyway, they have treated that. But basically, what I call, I noticed that a lot of times. Hello?
Well, we can hear you. We can listen to you. We can hear you.
Okay, I noticed a lot of times when we address some national issue, we don't get feedback from them. There's a particular issue that I am interested in that is currently going on in Nigeria about the slapping senator. I need to call him that name.
Elisha Abu. The senator that slapped someone.
Okay.
We need to follow up on. We say that we don't get, when things happen, we don't get feedback. So we need to follow up on situations.
Supposed to be a trial.
The
Matter is still in.
note of that.
I have a question.
I want us to dispel what the caller just said concerning the fact that once somebody talks about skincare,
It's
we
bleaching.
automatically think it's bleaching. So now you're talking about skin rejuvenation. How now for a guy for the melanin,
You're right.
like
Melanin
Brown
pumping.
skin girl.
for melanin pumping people like that. I mean, like us. Do we when our skin gets dry? Now I hear people talk about scrubbing. For me, I think scrubbing is intrusive. I mean, the fact that somebody else comes to my body and starts scrubbing my body, I can't stand that. Now, I'm being forced to do it myself. When I do it myself, I can't get to my back. I can't get around, so I just won't bother. It's still there. Laura gave me a scrub there. It's still in my bathroom. So how can I do scrubbing effectively by myself?
Okay, so when you talk about skincare, really, it has nothing to do with bleaching. It's just unfortunate that in Nigeria, you know, sometimes we're lawless. No, black is beautiful. Really? This is how I have been, yeah. So it isn't about bleaching. I mean, I've got my first degree in biochemistry, second in aesthetic medicine, third in skin therapy, and fourth in cosmetic chemistry.
You
yes.
So, 4 degrees. We do for you.
We do for I'm not going to stand there and support skin bleaching.
Right.
You know, skin bleaching is like you're wiping off the covering of your body in a very hazardous way. And I must say that toning has nothing to do with skin color. Toning means rejuvenation.
You have landed there.
Bleaching.
Yes. No.
Toning has nothing to do with lightening.
Oh, nice.
So there's a problem that I've seen many people complain about. Even someone right here in our office said that, oh, I'm trying to treat acne, and suddenly I became fair. And then in trying to get back to her color, she has sunburn. So what are the issues? Is it in the product we are? What causes it? Why would you pick a product that promises you to help to reduce acne, and the next thing you use it without any intention of bleaching, and you become a lighter you have lighter complexion, and you're struggling to get your skin back? How do we address that?
You know, most products that are not regulated are usually made of steroids. Steroids are drugs. They are meant to be used for a particular condition at a stipulated duration. But because it's not controlled, so anyone, anyone can have access to the steroid. And you know, effect of steroid more often than not is lightening, skin lightening.
So you've gotten to the point where I'll have to scream. Because maybe that's why I have a burnt face. Yes. Because growing up, I had serious pimples, acne all over my body. And I mean upper body, face, everything. So that was very oily skin.
It could be hormonal.
And everybody just give you one product, I don't want to mention, one, wear it from morning till night, be walking up and down in my body. And you know, a lot of other things like that. So a friend is using this, you buy it, and eventually, I just have a different shade of face to my body. And I have a very dark skin compared to my sister, so I was shocked, but it's kind of too far apart. Until date, there's no regulation. I wasn't enlightened as a young girl. And today, I still don't see that enlightenment out there where people will say, it's not everything, you know, except for what you're doing today. There are no major, you know, enlightenment campaign on this, no groups talking about it, so people don't just go and buy things and think they're dealing with acne, because eventually, maybe due to hormonal changes, the acne just disappeared. It's not like I did anything.
Being that I'm a science student, I understand that when I see alpha hydroxylic acid in a product, I should stay away from it, not because I need to now start using SPF and I'll get sunburn.
Why would you stay away from
because they write it there that if you use this product, and you have to use sunscreen. And I don't have sunscreen, so I don't use it. So can you give us some of the, because we might not be able to mention the brand, but if you tell us the combination inside it, the active substance inside them, that we can now look out for that. This, when you see this, it means that there's steroids inside it. What are those things that, I don't think it's not really bad. It's the percentage that...
if it's used within 2%, that if it's really used within 2%, it's still tolerable. But for AHA, I'm going to say that AHA is good. It all depends on, just like you put it out now, 2%. If it's not above the certain percentile that should be used, it's okay. But we must know that some things, some actives are very photosensitive. So just like you have, they are drugs. Just like you have your drugs and you see them in dark bottle jar, it is for a purpose because they are photosensitive and they mustn't be exposed to light. So when you have product like AHA, it's better used in the evening, at night.
But some people don't know. So AHA is alpha hydroxylic acid. They write it on the product.
acid, ja.
So look out for that.
Maria, please let me drop
It's
it.
complicated.
So apart from the hard thing that is shocking because I did not know, there are products now coming up in the name of organic. So me, I just started to make my own adiagba, my coconut, my shea butter myself.
Right.
So how safe are these other things for sensitive skin, coming under the sun?
What organic products can we use?
Natural.
Natural.
That are safe, that we use to
I'm
prevent
going
from
to
the
say
sun.
that, is there anything like organic, really? Really?
Coconut oil.
When you say organic, meaning it's organically grown, meaning no fertilizer at the point of growth, meaning even the soil is organic. So I want to say, do we really have it? But I think we should be very particular about the safety of whatever skincare products that we apply
So
on
research
the
into
skin.
those things. I
Yes. We must be, we've got into that point that we must be very conscious of what we apply. And of course, there are a lot of people that are doing campaigning against skin bleaching. Just that.
I'm not hearing them.
We have to.
Then there are people I've met who inject. There are people I've met who inject. What's it called? Vitamin C.
Glutathione.
And vitamin C into their system to get aside from lighter. That vitamin C
is
is
not vitamin C. It's that
being
light.
I think it's for rejuvenation or whatever. Is that safe? How dangerous?
Some are very safe. They are actually approved by FDA.
Okay.
Yes.
FDA approved.
Yes.
FDA is not NAFDAC.
So they have
I
vitamin
know,
C.
but even NAFDAC, I'm sure if it passes FDA, my products are approved by NAFDAC.
Right.
It doesn't mean they will be approved by FDA. So vis-a-vis.
Okay, I have a question. My own frustration is, you wake up, first of all, you go to bed, there's a cream for go and sleep. You wake up in the morning, there's a cream for you
wake up.
You first of all wash your face normal. Then you use toner washer, then you now use scrub it. After you now scrub, you now say tone again. After you now tone, there's a morning cream. After you now moisturize, they now say there's a sunscreen. Please, what kind of life is this?
Can you just simplify the process?
It takes me back to Tokpe's point. I think she asked the question initially where I wasn't able to answer.
Please.
She asked how one could scrub without having to do a whole lot of... Yeah. There is something called chemical peel.
Okay.
It's a pill.
I've seen it.
It depends on what it is made up of.
Okay.
You can actually do your own pill in your home.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the branded one that you can get in the market or in the at the pharmacy. When you have something like ascorbic acid, when you have something like that citric acid, that's
orange.
Orange. Okay. You can just dry your orange peel,
Okay.
make it into powder form,
Okay.
dissolve it in water, and whenever you're bathing every morning, you bathe with it. What you're doing is you're exfoliating, you're sloughing off. You don't have to use something adhesive.
It's so good though.
You don't have
You don't have makeup on.
No, I don't wear makeup because it actually blocks. They block your pores.
Are you talking to us?
We don't have a choice.
You do have choice.
Actually,
You
if
do.
I can get my skin to be this clear, maybe I will be not white. Calm down.
Mariah's skin is clear.
When I say clear, I have freckles. I have freckles and I have dark circles.
I don't see them when you come in the morning. I see you without makeup.
Okay, wait. Another thing you can do, microneedling.
What's that?
You can do it on your own. There is something called derma pen, like a derma roller.
Yes.
Yes. If you want your skincare product to get absorbed into the skin, you just microneedle. Microneed. You've slap.
There's a product called microneed. No. It's like a roller.
Yes.
So you roll it all over your face.
Okay.
And when you use any product, it sinks
As long as
She's
it's...
speaking the same English as speaking. Why are people making it look like I don't understand?
It's so easy.
No.
It depends on where you have the problem. She talked about freckles. She talked about wrinkles. They actually help. They help freckles. They help the lines. Instead of you going injectable route.
Let me even ask, what about rice water? And rice
water?
Yes.
Is that one not for growing hair?
It's for skin too. I came across a video where they were teaching how you can, for you now who your face is a bit darker than your skin, you can blend it, mix with turmeric, and apply on the face.
Is that correct?
But you not expert on it.
Let me tell you something.
Okay.
All these processes, they are taking place in the stratum germinativum. Stratum germinativum is the 5th layer of the epidermis. You have 4, 3, 2, 1. And all these processes you're talking about, rice, whatever, it's topical. The epidermal layer. Now tell me, melanin production is at the 5th layer. How can rice flour penetrate so deep?
What do we do internally? Tell us what you, because I have a few minutes there. What can we do internally to get good skin?
Like I said, to have purchase to it.
Yes.
Make sure you have cellular turnover. Make sure you have good antioxidant intake that will fight the free radicals that may want to break down your collagen level, that may want to break down your elastin. Make sure you have your peptides.
So you're using chemicals.
Just protein.
You are losing us.
But when you're taking it, make sure you integrate vitamin C. You integrate vitamin C into it. If you're not acne prone.
We have to run.
What about water?
Very, very important for hydration.
Okay, if you are just as confused as we are, please, we'll probably send you your Instagram handle. Don't mention it. We'll talk about it. We'll send it on our... We'll tweet it and send it on our individual chat room so that we can get less confused. Because I'm personally, I feel confused. But I'm getting harsh because we need information on skincare. All right, let's go on the break. When we come back, they said there's a monkeypox breakout in Lagos State. How true is it? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Recently, there was a monkeypox outbreak in Lagos State. This has led the government to reiterate the need for citizens to ensure and always maintain adequate personal and environmental hygiene as part of precautionary measures to prevent the outbreak. Join us on the show is our public health expert, Dr. Tuyi Mebawondu.
Our very own.
It's good to have you on the show. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Monkeypox. First was chickenpox. Then it was the other one that Lassa fever. Now it's monkeypox. What is going on? What's the cause of this?
I think Lagos and Nigeria. Oh, let's say Nigeria. I think we need to calm down. We have so much, a lot of bad news in terms of health. We're just escaping. Have we escaped the Lassa fever?
Not yet.
Really.
Then we have monkeypox, and we have all other outbreaks of different diseases coming on. Now, first and foremost, the starting point of most of these epidemics is a jump of these germs from either domesticated animal or wild animal to human. The pathway is usually from one animal that's a reservoir, an animal who's a reservoir that can transmit to another animal. And when we come in contact with the animal transmits to human, the human now transmits from human to human. So animal first, reservoir, animal to animal, animal to human, human to human. That is actually the flow of these diseases. Yes, monkeypox, first described as far back as 1958 because it was first noticed in a laboratory animal, monkey. So the first human case happened around 1970, somewhere in DR Congo. With a small boy, 9-year-old, with that kind of problem. Essentially, it is a virus that moves from either an animal reservoir to human, and the human being can transfer from one human to another human.
So how does it exhibit on humans?
Yet, again, the first thing is that the incubation period is between 4 and 20 days, basically about 12 days on average. When the person picks, any human picks it, you see the first stage. There are 2 clinical stages. The first stage is the constitutional symptoms: the headache, the body ache, the muscle pain, the sore throat, respiratory problem, cough, and pharyngitis. And then when that one is about, going away, within 5 to 10 days again, you see rashes. The rashes come from head, from face, and spread down to the trunk, and then to the extremities. These rashes are classical because no 2 rashes are the same in a way. Classically, they're big rashes. Normally, it doesn't actually, pain. Okay. It may itch, but it doesn't pain. When you experience pain with it means that there's a secondary bacterial infection in the rashes. So the rashes come up like that, and they're big, they spread like that. And then they move from flat to become raised, from raised to have pores or water, and from there, crust, and then disfigure the skin. I think we should have
just like measles, so it can easily be mistaken.
It can be mistaken for measles. Widow smallpox has been eradicated. It's similar
like
to smallpox.
Is it fatal? Can it be cured? Is it fatal?
Yeah, that's how it is. Now, it is of course, it can spread from, it's usually self-limiting. Okay. Normally, if we're talking about good immune system, good environment, cleanliness, it's self-limiting. But when it causes...
It's self-limiting, it dies of itself. It goes
I mean, the body, most viral illnesses are self-limiting if you have good immune system. But the challenges of secondary bacterial infection on the skin, on the throat, the spread of septicemia, infection going around the body, and affectation of the brain can actually lead to death. In Nigeria, we've seen that from January till now, we've seen like 4,019 cases, and 700 and something confirmed monkeypox cases spread over every part of Nigeria, 23 states, 86 local governments. It's not just limited to Lagos. Yes, this is local government, and we've seen 20% of those people dying.
When it's full-blown, sir, can it be treated when it's full-blown?
Yeah, again, the best way to do for it, like any illness, is to prevent. Now, when the thing is full-blown, you have to do a supportive treatment. But usually, just last month, September, I guess, the FDA, those people that do research in America, they've been able to get a vaccine. So it's a vaccine that can be given. Oh, wow. There's a code over a kind of drug also that can be given. But you can be rest assured those things are not available. For us,
so how can we curb the spread? Which is why we're discussing on the show right now, maybe to generate awareness and ensure that people can prevent it. What are the preventive measures that we can take to curb it? What are the government doing? We knew how they dealt with Ebola, and they were able to curtail the spread. But what is the government doing, and what can we do as individuals?
Again, first and foremost, let's look at individual level. How do you handle wild animals? Okay, because we're in love with bushmeat.
Lion got to escape recently.
We're in love with bushmeat. Okay, and we know that most of these rodents, okay, from squirrels, from gazelle, rabbits, from antelope and co, they can be a reservoir of this, even monkey, they can be a reservoir of this germ. And then we go on the road, we see this animal hanging and say, oh, this bushmeat, we need to eat it. We need to standardize the way we handle those bushmeat. That is very key. Either the person that caught the bushmeat or the people trying to eat it, they have to have a standard way of handling those meat, because you never know which of them is harboring any of this.
So that was the question I was going to ask. So if the hunter is watching by any chance, is there a way he can know if this animal actually is sick, or what should you do? Is it carrier or
carrier? You won't know. The best way to know is to work with the forestry and those who will take specimens.
Forestry.
So if the farmer already encounters that animal, and let's say the animal is a carrier, how can the farmer prevent this animal from bringing it to the city? How can the farmer protect himself when he wants to do his trade? The farmer may not know.
The farmer may not know, because this animal, most of them are not manifesting the disease in a way. They're just carrier. Okay, so the farmer needs to standardize the way he handles the animal. You shoot an animal, you must have a way to, at least maybe something to wear, gloves to wear, the cover that you can then pick the animal, put inside your sack, and then when you get home, do a proper washing of your hand. And when you have to handle the animal, you handle the animal in such a way that you don't allow any scratches, any contact, prolonged contact with the blood or the secretion of the animal. That
And don't sell it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
you still sell it, you wash it.
And then when you're not selling the animal, we're talking about handling the animals now. When you now sell the animal, even the person who's going to eat must be able to go through that thorough process of preventing.
What's the thorough process?
I mean, of course, the hygiene, the proper cooking, you know, avoiding contact, prolonged contact. Of course, you have to wear gloves while doing those animals. Prolonged contact with the blood.
Sir, I don't understand. No. I don't understand. I will wear gloves to wash what I want to eat. It will still enter my mouth.
There are gloves, not medical.
No, what I'm saying is that this same food I'm washing...
When you wash and you now cook...
is free.
Of course.
That's what I wanted him to arrive at.
So you have to cook the proper cooking.
They don't say you should not eat bush meat. Cook it properly.
The second thing is this. If you are a pet lover, because you see people with all sorts of pets, rabbits, cats, and things like that.
Can you be
and then for whatever reason, your dog has to really meet play with another animal, or you bandit them together, you transport them together. If any one of them is having the virus, you can transfer it to that one, you can transfer it to another person. Because in 2003, there was an epidemic of that. You know, the Midwestern part of America experienced this massive monkeypox virus. What happened? There was a typical Gambian rat that they imported, okay, that was transported with the prairie dog, those tiny dogs. And then the rat gave to the dog. The dog gave to the owner. And then that's how the thing spread. So if you have pets and you have, you're a pet lover, you must understand the standard procedure, either in transposition and checking, to be sure that the pet is not...
Okay, I have to ask you this question that I think I ask you anytime you come here. It's the same question we ask. Once you go to the hospital, we are treated with malaria. You are treated with basic typhoid. Now, before we get to the point that we detected that it's monkeypox, I need to understand what should we be looking out for. I know you mentioned the symptoms, but somebody who is suspecting that this is beyond malaria and typhoid, what do they do?
Now, the point is that first and foremost, even the doctors will have high index of suspicion, okay, to say that this person have done malaria parasite, because there is standard procedure for checking whether this is malaria. Okay, if you observe your universal precaution that is done in hospital, you wear your glove, face mask, and all those, and you take the blood, and you now do a malaria parasite, it's negative, and you now look at it, you're not seeing any infection, and lo and behold, within 5 days, you are seeing rashes. Then that should...
They will see infection now. If they check, they will see infection.
You may not, you see, because the thing is that if you want to check for those infections, it's going to be expensive. And if somebody is not asking you that to do a test for you, go and bring 250,000. No, for instance, to run all the panel. Okay. You'll be wondering that, for waiting now, are you, So the doctors also, they are conscious of the fact that we're in an environment where there's limited resources, where the people don't really have much money to do things. Common things occur commonly.
Let me take this call and I'll come back to this. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning, Maureen.
Thanks for calling. Very well. Go ahead, please.
Let me on to Dr. Tuyi, please. Can I go ahead?
Go ahead.
My question is to Dr. Tuyi.
Yeah.
Because we were told when we were growing up in our elementary science, that when you cook, heat is a good substance to kill germs and not the rest of it. Very strong heat, fire. So when the animal is properly cooked, how come we still have germ in it? The infections we are talking about, I don't think. Do you think it can still be effective when it's properly cooked?
Yeah, when the animal is properly cooked, of course, fire is one of the few ways to clean up animals or even the food we want to eat. But the point is this: before you cook, you still have to handle the raw flesh of the animal. Okay? If the animal, it's the handling that transferred it into you. If you don't cook it properly, okay, you can also pick some other germs. But more importantly, we need to raise the standard of our hygiene. Let's face it, whether we're talking about personal hygiene or environmental hygiene, You can't have a situation whereby you see rats roaming around. You know, you see a dog feeding, a cat feeding the same dustbin with the rat, all of them mingling together. And you now think that you have a safe environment. Environment is so fundamental and key to us that if we need honesty, you can see all the level of filth that we're seeing around. And you think that germs, not everywhere, you think that germs will not be jumping from one person to another. So again, as long as you see poverty, as long as you see malnutrition, as long as you see dirt everywhere, the rest assured, germs will just keep jumping around. Their purpose, I don't know. Why those germs? I don't even know the purpose of creating monkeypox. Anyway.
Who is creating it?
I don't know. It must have been created by
somebody.
Some creator, in a way. I don't know what it's doing to anybody. But again, we're here, we're facing it. We need to honestly put a premium on our environment. If we don't do that, we'll pick germs, we'll transmit it, we'll export it.
So what do you do when you live in an environment that is not clean? You have...
you have to clean it, Ke.
You have to clean it. So, okay, for instance, let me even land it first. You have someone maybe beside you who uses a pit latrine, so to speak. On the other side, someone like that. And then you are always fighting rats back to back in you. How do you keep...
You will keep none.
Again, it comes to the issue of sanitary inspection or, or sanitation, or the role of government or local government, as it were, and even the CDAs.
Mr. Mebawondu, let me just quickly put it out there that in Lagos, it seems that waste management has failed completely. This morning, I woke up and saw, as I was driving at Mile 2, Maza bus stop particularly, a girl brought out waste from her house, put it in the middle of the road, and she sat there. Pigs were feeding there, and another man was peeing there. On the express road, on Badagry Express Road, opposite the hospital. How is it possible that we live like this? How we ourselves, at least the worst that can happen is that you create a place to manage the waste if waste management doesn't come. So I pay for them to carry my waste. Prior to that, I used to burn it in front of my house, and people wanted to turn the entrance of my own property to a dustbin. So I had to curtail that even for my tenants. I deal with it every day, mentally and physically. How can we live like this?
We have to. Yes. We have to also do our own bits of it. You understand? Most of the things we need to do is to be able to talk, and we hope that we can be listened to.
Eventually reach people.
We can be listened to in terms of, okay, how can somebody be managing the environment this way? Because it's endangering all of us.
There should even be an agency where you can call and make reports. Because I see people sweep their shops and put it outside. And you're having an exchange and the person is telling you, now you first go school.
This battle, we're taking it to the government. Let's not to the
Especially at the level of local government and CDAs. You know, the Community Development Association, as it were, if it's properly structured, we understand, we know ourselves.
Yes.
In our community, we know you are here, and I'm here.
So I don't think we have enough information on the cost of this to the government. If the government is aware that whenever there is this epidemic, they have to spend millions of naira to cure the sick people and get vaccines and all of that, maybe they would focus their attention on creating an environment that does not groom these sicknesses. Because what you've said is that our environment currently grooms.
But it's also a part of the citizens.
Citizens, yes. You see,
ordinary tying your trash. They don't. People don't trash. They just pour it there loosely. Now the dirt goes all over the place. So we also must first the government has their own place, definitely, but we also must take responsibility.
Absolutely. You see, everything can't be government. We have a personal role to play. Yeah, and then the CDA role, the local government. The CDAs are just like, me and you gathered together to secure a lot of things in our environment. We should be able to raise, their activities within the locality.
Let me quickly take this call before I lose it. Good morning. Are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling, madam.
For so long.
Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, please.
Kudos for the good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello?
We can hear you very clearly.
Yes, I want to ask whether one can contact you when seated with an infected person, maybe in the public transport or maybe even at the hospital.
Can you contact it?
Is it contagious?
Is it contagious? Like
again, because
thank you very much.
An active monkeypox, when the person is coughing and sneezing, there's what we call a droplet infection.
Yes.
Okay, there's a droplet infection, means of contacting. These viruses are very smart. They will go to where you sneeze them out, and then they will spread. So now, it's part of the education we need to imbibe, is that normally you go around, you must have an handkerchief. If you have to sneeze, you cover your nose. You can't just
Sir, we're not talking about the person that has the virus. No, those of us that we are trying to protect ourselves from the virus, if they did not cover their nose, how do we protect ourselves?
If the person can cover his or her nose, at least there will be the transmission will be limited. But what are you going to do? You're in public transport now. If the person stays there, what are you going to do?
Manners.
Probably, you try to cover with
when somebody's sneezing in front of you.
Yeah, with your handkerchief. That's the best you can do. But there's a droplet infection component to this monkeypox. That's what we should know.
So if it
and
drops
then it's a big public health issue.
So I need to clarify. Droplet. Droplet means dropping on you or dropping so that you inhale.
No, what happens is that when you sneeze, it forms aerosols.
Right. Now, if you inhale
then the air takes it around.
So if somebody sneezes and you don't breathe for like 5 seconds, because I do that when you sneeze. I just try to not breathe for 5 seconds. That goes away.
No. The droplet will just be hanging there.
I'm waiting for you, Mr. Mebawondu. I see people pass by waste that they dump. When they bring it from the house, dump for them. When they're passing, they use their hand like this. Or they bring out their handkerchief. Does it prevent in any way?
Sorry, because we're running out of time, I wanted to ask you, you said that when the immunity of the host body is strong, sometimes they are able to naturally fight it.
Yes.
So that we leave people with a bit of hope. What can we eat that would help our immunity to be strong, so that these things that were flying around,
it will not near us.
Is it bitter? At least our body will fight it when it comes.
Well, you see, it's a very challenging thing in Nigeria's situation, because you look at it, level of poverty, 98 million people, hidden hungers, plenty, malnutrition, we're leading. So, where do we want to start?
How do we quarantine someone who has it?
What can we eat, sir?
You don't say I'm
Eat healthy. Combine your protein.
We have
combine your greens.
Foods. Maybe they'll tell me, like, I should go and drink one turmeric tea. Or you tell me I should eat one.
No, tweets. Let me ask some questions on Twitter. Adeko says, how do we raise our hygiene when we lack basic things such as water? Another one is saying, can you use lime on the affected animal to clean? Then Mr. I says, some citizens he used a very insulting word. Let me call out market women in Oja, Oba, Ibadan, or your state. These people block the drainages with refuse every time it rains, and our government is not educated as well. Then Kwesi Fola says, backward, very dirty as a people, so they even bring their deaths to your burning point. I halo.
Yeah, because again, honestly, if there's something that we need to do something about, it is our level of hygiene. And, knowing fully well that whatever we do, we're causing problems. We are leading in open defecation.
As in, we're leading in everything bad.
Yes, I don't know. Okay, people just go on that bridge, you see people, defecating openly. You will spread
Some of them are doing it there.
Adekule says, how do we raise our hygiene when we lack basic things such as water? Precious Archer says, please, can you use lime on the affected animal? My eye is telling me, said, some citizens are... Okay, so Nima took that already, but can we use lime on the affected animal?
The key thing about when you want to eat the animal is proper preparation and cooking. And of course, most of our women and mothers, they know how to prepare food properly.
Cook and make it done.
The other aspect of it is the fact that you don't want to have too much contact with the blood of the animal and the secretions, as it were. Now, if someone, of course, what government needs to do is that if you now have a full case of monkeypox, of course, you have to isolate the person.
That's quarantine.
Yes, you have to quarantine the person. I think 30 days is the maximum time. But with the advent of the vaccines now...
Quarantine your house or push the person to the hospital.
The hospital does that. How can you quarantine? You can't do that. Because
we have to run off, unfortunately. We can't take any more of this. But I think generally we understand that it can be cured. It's something that can actually... And also preventable.
Preventable. Let's dwell on preventable, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on the show. Join us tomorrow for our live audience show on Wednesday. Please come early so you can get a seat. Have a fabulous day. See you then. Bye-bye.